Good morning, everyone. And on behalf of the entire nexxar team, I would like to welcome you to our webinar on Online First. Thank you very much for dialing in. We're happy that you managed to participate today. My name is Alexandra. I am a project manager in nexxar, and I will be the host for this webinar today. I'm happy to introduce my colleague Thomas Rosenmeier, who will hold this presentation and give you details on the vision behind Online First and the procedure in practice. On our agenda today, we want to answer 3 questions. What is Online First? Why should I use Online First? And how does Online First work? And at this point, I would like to hand over to Thomas.
Thank you very much, Alexandra, for hosting this webinar, and also a warm welcome from my side to everybody. We are overwhelmed by the strong interest in today's topics of Online First. Together with our session in July that we already did, we now reached out to more than 60 reporting executives in about 10 different countries across Europe. I'm proud to present today another big step to what we think is the future for corporate reporting. It's a more seamless solution for both print and online reporting. Before we dive into the agenda, I would like to briefly introduce nexxar to you. With more than 10 years of experience and 100% focus on digital, we are unique in the corporate reporting space. Our main asset is our focus on the digital communication channel. Our team combines digital natives with reporting experts. We are concept developers, editors, consultants, web developers, graphic designers, multimedia producers, and software developers. Altogether, we are now 25 people located in Vienna, Austria. We have successfully published over 500 online reports with a fantastic prize-winning result. A brief look into our clients, which are located across the globe. We work with small and medium-sized companies, as well as for some of the biggest global brands in the world. Most of our clients are located in Europe, mainly Germany, Netherlands, UK, Switzerland. But we also do have client relations in Japan, the US, and Canada. We are used to work across borders in multiple jurisdictions and different languages. This international setting gives us valuable insights on what's going on within the digital space. One of the key success factors of nexxar has always been our clear and lean process management. Through our highly skilled project managers, we try to avoid unnecessary handovers, which is why you always work with one manager throughout the entire process. For us, this single point of contact policy, together with our new CMS solution, is the key driver of this Online First offer. So now let's get right into the first part of today's webinar. Let me explain what Online First means to us. In a nutshell, Online First is a new process that meets all needs. Instead of converting content from and into different formats, a content management system becomes the linchpin of creation. As soon as the report content is filled into the CMS, all different output formats derive from this single source. Obviously, this is very efficient, but there is more to it than efficiency and cost reduction, which we'll come to in a minute. Before that, let me show you some recent examples to better understand what the outcome looks like in practice. We have chosen 3 reports that represent a great range of what is possible and how shifting the focus also shapes the message. The first example is the nexxar report. This is a pure Online First approach, where all content has been created to live online. Text amounts, graphs, tables, even the GRI index have been shaped purely to fit for the web. Additionally, the Linde Group decided to produce a 24-page summary hardcover version as additional offer for print-focused readers. The second example is the recent CR update report from German pharmaceutical company Merck. The major goal here at this report was to push the boundaries for what is actually possible to be generated straight from our CMS on the print side. This shows very well what we are already capable of doing for the print version now, including artwork, imagery. Everything has been done within the nexxar theme. And the third example is the sustainability report from Wacker, which was built with the focus on web accessibility and usability. We added interactive charting, there is an interactive timeline, and there are optimized tools for web reading, like expandable tables. You can scroll, you can select. There are special text intros on the online version, and the content has been shaped purely for the web usage. Additionally, this report is also available as a native iPad app, which unlocks a very valuable additional user group. Probably it's best if you explore these three examples online yourself after the webinar. The links to the reports are embedded into the presentation, which will be available on our website at nexxar.com/webinar once the webinar is finished. You can then browse through as well as download the PDF to have a close look yourself. If you'd like to receive one of the mentioned hardcover versions that we produced, we are very happy to help with this. Just let us know. Let's now move on to the question why Online First is such a compelling offer. I would like to start with the current situation in corporate reporting, where most of the companies still follow a traditional way. With traditional, I mean that design, content creation, and all steps of the process are focused to perfectly fit for the print version. Let me give you a simple example what I mean. Think, for example, of the last photo shooting of your board of directors that you did for your annual report. In a print-led process, everything is set to best fit the outcome for your print report. The contrast of the picture, for example, the crop, the positioning on page, everything has been developed for the portrait formatted paper version. But when it comes to the online version, this outcome might not be working on a landscape screen. The traditional print-centric approach worked very well when the web was perceived as secondary channel for communication. In the past, the digital audience was used to compromises. But today, the web has become the primary source of information. Especially for research, the web has replaced printed materials as first point of reference. Today, web users demand content that is shaped for their needs. So while digital devices already became the default user's choice, most reports still rely on a print approach. That's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. Our online first approach now is a deal changer. It shifts the priorities from print to web. This is the only way to gain better exposure to the huge digital audience. As an example for this potential, I looked up the average percentage for referrers from search engine to HTML reports. Today, already 28% of all users enter an online report through a search hit. To be well found by search engines, it is key for the for the report to be in HTML. And I'm sure this importance will continue to grow with social media and web accelerating going forward. While the use of online is steadily rising, the demand for hardcover versions are decreasing. In a recent survey this summer, we found out that print runs of annual reports at the German DAX company decreased by an average of 30% in the last 3 years. And for the interim reports, it's even more interesting that half of the companies already stopped to offer a hardcover version anymore. Looking at these facts, it's simply a waste of resources to make your corporate story fit for a print-based output when your readers consume this information on screen. Summing up, the recipients of information think digital. You as originators of the message need to put yourself in the same position. And the best way to achieve this is to move the concept and content generation start online. In preparation of this webinar, we try to find details of how reporting budgets actually are allocated. The best we could get was a study from German publishing house Gruder from 2012, showing the budget split attached to the production of a hardcover version. It's based on a survey among corporations in Germany with budgets of around 100,000 euros. Before presenting the outcome of this study, we would like to invite you to submit your assessment on this in a quick poll that Alexandra prepared for us. Please, Alexandra, go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Thomas. I will start the poll right away. We would like to know from you what amount of total cost is attached to printing, pre-press, meaning typesetting and proofreading, mailing, and paper. What do you think? Is it less than 20%? Is it between 20 and 40%? Is it more than between 40 and 60%, or is it more than 60%? I can see that the votes are already coming in. We will give you one more moment to choose your answer before we close the poll and discuss the results. Thank you very much for participating. Let's stop the vote and see what the actual result is. 33% said that it was between 20 and 40%. 33 also voted for between 40 and 60%, and 1/3 once again for more than 60%. So pretty much equally votes. Okay, nobody voted for less than 20%. So thank you very much. I will close the poll and hand over back to Thomas.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alexandra, for the poll, for hosting this. The split actually is pretty much equal between 20 and 60%. We were also surprised when we looked at the outcome of this survey from Gruder, which found that more than 60%, exactly it's 62%, of the costs are attributable to the printing, pre-press, mailing, and paper. I will show you the cost components in detail on the next slide. And there you can see from this study that is 28% is attached to the printing itself, and 22% to the pre-press, which includes typesetting and proofreading, and 7% for logistics, mailing, and 5% for the paper. The rest of 38%, this is the gray bar in the bottom, that includes services like photos, agency services, and consulting. An interesting aspect of this pre-press costs is that those actually are basically fixed. So while paper, mailing, or printing itself will fall in line with decreasing print runs that we experience, the costs for typesetting will stay fixed and therefore will become a dominant driver in the future for overall reporting budgets. And that's exactly what our Online First is looking at and aiming for. To bring things better together, I would also like to give you an insight from our recent survey that we did among corporate reporting executives in Germany. One of the questions there was asked for the overall budget for any report productions. And the answer pretty much relates to the size, of course, of a company. So you can see there is quite an equal split between budgets less than 100,000, 100,000 to 200,000, 200 to 300, 300 to 400, more than 400,000. But the interesting part here is that the average of all the submitted answers is the budget is of about 250,000 euros, which is what we consider a very huge potential for cost savings of a web-based reporting platform. Now let's move on to the question, what makes Online First so efficient? In the past, an interactive report used to be an expensive add-on to the process of designing and printing the documents. Our Online First approach now reverses that. We are targeting all content for the increasing web audience. Plus, we are offering an automated PDF that is extracted from our CMS. And this PDF is supposed to be printable. And Also, the CMS can be automatically converted into a native iPad app or offers Android versions. By reversing the production process, you benefit from several advantages. You're saving time, you reduce overhead and work, and therefore you're also cutting costs. For example, you can share access with user rights to all essential stakeholders of the editing team. There is no extra typesetting, and that's probably the main cost reduction by using Online First, because this is becoming obsolete. It reduces the costs and also saves time. And all amendments can be carried out straight at the source, which is quicker, easier, and safer. There is no more marking up of corrections and sending them to print agencies, and afterwards you don't have to double check what they have done in the amended version. Online First is better because it's flexible, adapting to your needs and to the users. It's searchable, it's interactive, it's future-proof, and most important, it's built for the web usage. It's also faster because there are less links in the chain and you are taking advantage of collaborative nature of web. It's cheaper, there is no extra typesetting, and all technical setup is reusable in future report production. And it's safer by granting user rights and offering a state-of-the-art version control. The version control allows you to go back, for example, to previous versions, and therefore helps to keep track of all changes. I hope this now explained very well the idea behind our Online First offer. I would now like to focus a little bit more in detail on the process and how it works in practice. For this, I would like to compare a traditional print with the new Online First approach. In the traditional one, the content is at some point transferred into an InDesign or any other typesetting program that is hosted with your print agency. The agency is then taking ownership of this content, and from that moment onwards, all the stakeholders that are working on the content have to feed changes through this agency and double-check the work that is carried out by them. Such double-tracked communication is inefficient and time-consuming. Sometimes it's even leading to confusion. It's complex, it's risky, and it's quite costly as well. The online report then is seen as and treated as an add-on. That's what is symbolized on the right-hand side. And the same communication overhead applies for the online version as well. The Online First version, by contrast, takes advantage of the collaborative working possibilities that the web offers. The content is filled into the CMS. All stakeholders have access to the same source. They can carry out whatever input they are determined to give, like text editing, checking numbers, adjusting graphs, pictures, uploading, downloading, double-checking, whatever you need, you can do that straight into the CMS. Additionally, the technology is used to your benefit with a simple what you see, what you get editor, for example, and we also plan to improve the functionalities of our web continuously. We want to offer a replace mechanisms for the figures, so you can consistently change throughout the report the figures at a central point, and all the appearances within the CMS are synchronized automatically. Other areas of development include the web dictionary and the synonym library. As in the past, we will continue to build on these tools with the help and according to the needs of our clients. The Online First process comprises 3 major steps. Similar to the print process, we start with planning and designing, but this time, as explained earlier, the focus is on the online experience. Once the concept is approved, we start to build the framework within our CMS, and the framework already takes into account all the designs that are agreed for the different reporting channels, so the web version, the printable PDF, or an iPad app, an Android app. The third step is the content creation itself, which can be done straight into the source. Finally, I would like to give you a short snapshot of our CMS to convince you that nowadays editing tools are no rocket science. They are intuitive, and I'm sure they this looks pretty similar to what you are used to do work every day. With this, you can easily edit or format all text, as well as insert hyperlinks, bullets, images, and anything else you need to do. To summarize, identical content for both print and online will always have to make compromises on either side. In the past, the online reports have followed their printed counterpart. Now it's time to take a step back and ask the question if the shifting of the reader preferences require a rethinking of your starting strategy. Online First helps you to shape your report according to the preferences of your readers. And if we take up the metaphor from the beginning, it is fitting the peg into the hole. So thank you very much for your listening. And I'm now opening up the Q&A session for all your questions. Alexandra, you collected, I think, the questions that already came in. Can we do something and start with the Q&A session right now?